stories of a farmer in a remote village who cannot irrigate his fields because there is no reliable power for a pump. Stories of children who go to bed hungry or without food because the system that should sustain them is failing. Sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure offer a way forward. Solar panels and wind turbines can bring clean, reliable power to rural communities. Modern irrigation systems and climate-smart farming techniques can boost agricultural productivity while preserving the environment. Roads, storage facilities, and markets can connect farmers to consumers, reducing waste and increasing incomes. Together, these investments create a virtuous cycle. Energy enables agriculture, agriculture drives economic development, and economic development fuels further investment in infrastructure. But here, financing. The scale of investment required is staggering. The World Bank estimates that achieving the Sustainable Development Goals related to energy and agriculture will require trillions of dollars annually. This is far beyond the capacity of any single government or institution. This is also not a challenge we can meet with business as usual attitude or approaches. It demands creativity, collaboration, and a reimagining of how we mobilize resources. So, the question is, how do we finance sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure? To answer this, we must first acknowledge the gap. Public budgets, while critical, are constrained by competing demands in healthcare, education, security, and many more. Official development assistance, though available, is a fraction of what is needed. Private capital, which holds immense potential, often hesitates in the face of perceived risks, regulatory uncertainty, or insufficient returns. This gap is not insurmountable, but it requires us to think differently. Allow me therefore to outline three key pillars that I believe can guide our efforts. These are innovation, partnership, and accountability. First, the most important, we must innovate. Traditional financing models, which rely on grants, loans, or taxes, must evolve to include new tools that leverage the strengths of both the public and private sectors. Green bonds, for instance, have emerged as powerful instruments, raising billions for renewable energy projects worldwide. In 2024 alone, global green bond issuance surpassed 500 billion, funding everything from solar farms to energy-efficient buildings. Is it possible for our country to adopt this model for agricultural infrastructure and issue agro bonds to fund irrigation systems or cold storage facilities? I believe it is possible. The second model is blended finance. By combining public funds with private investment, we can de-risk projects and attract capital to regions or sectors from process. I think some years back we had this program in the agricultural sector when the president of African Development Bank was Minister of Agriculture. I think our farmers through the phone system had access to align incentives with outcomes, ensuring that financing delivers development. Now, why does this matter? They matter because sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure are not just ends. They are engines of economic development. When a farmer can power a mill with solar energy, he or she turns grain into flour, creating value and jobs. When a rural road links a village to a city, it opens markets, spurs business, and attracts investment. When a community gains access to clean energy and modern farming tools, it breaks the cycle of poverty and builds a foundation for prosperity. The International Renewable Energy Agency estimates that every dollar invested in renewable energy generates $3 to $7 in economic returns through jobs, health improvements, and productivity gains. In agriculture, The World Bank finds that irrigation projects can increase crop yields by up to 300%, lifting incomes and stabilizing food prices. These are not hypothetical benefits. They are proven pathways to growth. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, let me leave you with a call to action. The third infrastructure dialogue is not just a conversation. It is a commitment. To the policymakers in this room, please prioritize sustainable infrastructure in your budgets and plans and create the regulatory frameworks that attract investment. To the private sector, bring your capital, your expertise, your innovation. Structure is not just a structure, but a promise of development, dignity, and hope for all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your dedication to this cause, and remain blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to insist on another resounding applause for the distinguished chairman of this occasion, who has also taken his time to give us more expose into the conversations that will be happening today. It makes me feel like he's a great expert in this field. Can we please give him that round of applause one more time, please? Thank you very much. We appreciate you, sir. Let me very warmly recognize the presence of Right Honorable Iduma Igariwe, the Vice Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation. Please can we welcome him with a round of applause. Honorable Iduma, you're most welcome, sir. And you are sitting at the rear, but that's okay. That's very honorable of you, sir. Let me also then recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister of Information, National Orientation and Culture, Mohammed Idris, represented here by the Director of Public Communications and National Orientation, Henshaw Ogwike. Please a warm round of applause for him. We're being joined by General S.P. Aliyu, Air Vice Marshal Abubakar, and Right Honorable Irem Ibom. Please can we give them a round of applause, please? Thank you very much for sparing your time to be with us at this dialogue. We recognize the presence of Bonaventure Ohaimo, Development Bank of Nigeria, Chief Operating Officer. Please put your hands together for him. That applause is very watery. We're also being joined by the Executive Director, TGI, Sadiq Kasem. Please a warm round of applause for Kasem. And then, of course, from the Simba Group, who are in the best and most prominent solar company in Nigeria, we have Sandeep Charma. Please a round of applause for Sandeep and his team. Thank you very much. Let me also recognize the presence of His Excellency Barrister Kelechi Igwe, former Deputy Governor, Ebonyi State. Please, a round of applause for him. I'd also want to recognize the presence of Malam Mohammed Abu Ibrahim. He is the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the National Agricultural Development Fund. Please put your hands together to welcome him, please. Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. After listening to the distinguished chairman of this occasion, it is then very pertinent that we listen to Ambassador Alfredo Miranda. Ambassador Alfredo Miranda serves as a crucial bridge between Mexico and West Africa, particularly in his roles as the official representative to Nigeria and the non-resident ambassador to Equatorial Guinea, Benin Republic, and the Cameroons. His responsibilities extend to being the permanent representative to the Economic Community of West African States, where he champions the strengthening of diplomatic, economic, and cultural links. Ambassador Miranda's educational foundation in international relations from the National Autonomous University of Mexico and a master's degree in Latin American Studies equips him with a strategic insight necessary to address complex international issues. His career has been marked by significant advancements in sectors like agriculture and energy, where he has promoted sustainable practices and investment opportunities. These efforts are pivotal in driving economic growth and fostering regional development, illustrating his commitment to enhancing cooperation and mutual prosperity between Mexico and West African nations. It is my honor and privilege to invite the ambassador at this point to give us his goodwill message. Please, a warm round of applause for him as he comes up.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and allow me to stand on the established protocol. Mexico acknowledged this important invitation to participate in the Infrastructure Dialogue 2025. It's a good opportunity to learn from Nigeria that has plenty of capabilities and capacities to produce and to generate an important role in the market and the worldwide. So, simply, my message is we are eager to once Nigeria is able to produce the information, necessary information for marketing itself. It's important to attract the investment opportunities, only convince them, because as an ambassador, I have been witness during these 3 years here in Nigeria how important is to generate the opportunities and conditions in order to attract attention of the foreign investors. For this reason, I only want to thank you again for the organizers of this event, and I wish you the good deliberations, and I am sure that the outcomes of this event will be really an important results of for the future of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. Perhaps I haven't also shared with you the health benefits of clapping. It is difficult for us to understand that, but I'll share this with you because it's free of charge, and it's courtesy of Dr. Ono Hannachi, who happens to be the initiator of a National Infrastructure Dialogue. I stumbled on a research that was done by the University of Philadelphia, United States of America, Nigeria if you want, United States of America in November 2014, that says people who clap vigorously, especially in an occasion of this magnitude, lives longer, healthier, youthful, wrinkles-free, visit doctors less, and in turn, clapping helps to rejuvenate your internal organs. Please imbibe the culture of clapping. It is healthy to clap. Thank you very much indeed. I recognize the presence of the former Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State earlier on, but I have it on good authority that he's wearing two caps. His own cap as the former Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, and that of the President of the Senate 2000 to 2003, His Excellency Senator Anyim Pius Anyim, who also doubled as a former Secretary to Government of the Federation. So His Excellency Barrister Eric Kelechi Igwe is wearing two caps. Let's welcome him with double clap for that reason, please. I also want to recognize the presence of Honorable Prince Nwabueze. He's a serial investor in the energy sector, and we're privileged to have him with us. Please, a warm round of applause for him.
And now, still on goodwill messages, I will be moving over to Senator Abubakar Kyari, that is in person of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. Senator Abubakar Kyari Abubakar is the Nigerian politician who is the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Food Security. He was the senator representing Borno North Senatorial District from 2015 until his resignation in April 2022. He is a member of the All Progressives Congress and briefly served as its acting national chairman in 2023. Kyari was elected to the House of Representatives of Nigeria during the military regime of General Sani Abacha under the platform of the United Nigeria Congress Party in 1998, but did not take office after the party was dissolved by General Abdulsalami Abubakar following Abacha's death. Now, he was State Treasurer of the All People's Party, APP, Borno State Chapter from 1998 to 1999, and at the start of the Fourth Republic in 1999, he was re-elected to the House of Representatives under the platform of the APP, and served from 1999 to 2003. He was appointed Borno State Commissioner for Water Resources by Governor Ali Modu Sharif in 2003 and served till 2005. He was the Managing Director, Rural Water Supply Agency, Borno State from 2005 to 2007, and appointed Borno State Commissioner for Education in 2007 to 2008. He was also reappointed Commissioner for Water Resources by Governor Sharif and served from 2008 to 2010. Commissioner for Home Affairs and Information from 2010 to 2011, and Commissioner for Works in 2011. He also served as Chief of Staff to Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima from 2011 to 2014. Kyari was elected to the Senate in 2015 under the platform of the All Progressives Congress and re-elected in 2019. Serving till April 2022 when he resigned to become APC National Chairman North. He became acting National Chairman of the APC on the 17th of July 2023 following the resignation of APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu. And finally, he was appointed Minister of Agriculture, Food Security by President Bola Tinubu on 16th of August 2023 following a screening and confirmation by the Senate. Please make welcome with me the representatives of the Honorable Minister in person of Mark Kelvin O. Olajide Agulue for his goodwill speech. Please a round of applause for him.
Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the existing protocols as been established. I bring you greetings from Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, who is unavoidably absent, much as he would have loved to be in this very important epoch-making occasion, but for other demands of state. It's in his authority that I've come to present to you today his address and give him representation to the best of my capacity. I read. It is with a profound sense of responsibility and honor that I stand before you today as we accentuate the very central nature of energy and agricultural infrastructure to food security and nation building, which is topmost on the agenda of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, since the assumption of office about 2 years ago. Engagement and constructive dialogue stand as critical components of our methodical and holistic efforts at charting a new course for the conceivable future of Nigeria agriculture. Reflecting on my invitation to this gathering, with a request that I be a special guest of honor alongside respected national leaders, and interestingly, on such an important topic as the theme, financing sustainable energy and agriculture infrastructure for economic development, a pathway to national recovery. Without missing words, this chosen topic is not only apt and timely, but also fundamental to our mission of ensuring food and nutrition security, economic prosperity, and sustainable development for Nigeria on the imperative that agriculture remains our mainstay. I'm elated to say that I am particularly ecstatic that this convocation is happening. Let me commend the leadership and the entire management of Infrastructure Dialogue, as well as other partners, co-sponsors, and supporters of the Infrastructure Dialogue 2025. Special mention and recognition must be given to all national leaders here present, thought leaders, policymakers, and industry stakeholders brought together by this convocation to advance solutions that will fix problems plaguing the energy and infrastructural challenges facing agricultural sector. On that strength, I make bold to say that our gathering here today is timely and a critical step in the right direction, as this will provide a veritable platform for experience sharing, knowledge exchange, and further promote our collective quest for the development of Nigeria's agriculture. Engagement of this nature is critical to nation building because it has far-reaching implications for our nation's growth, prosperity, and well-being. I'm glad to say that this initiative is in tandem with the aspirations of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, who has not left anyone in doubt about his administration's priority on food security, evident in his unflinching support for the agricultural sector since the assumption of office, and further encapsulated in the economic sustainability plan, hinging on the sector as a key sector identified as a driving force for economic diversification and prosperity. Esteemed guests, leaders of thought, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria, like many other developing countries, faces significant challenge in financing sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure. Our energy sector is plagued by inadequate infrastructure, resulting in frequent power outages and lack of access to reliable energy. Similarly, our agricultural sector is hindered by limited access to finance, technology, and infrastructure, leading to low productivity and food insecurity. However, I firmly believe that financing sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure presents a significant opportunity for our nation's economic development and recovery. By investing in these sectors, we can create jobs, stimulate economic growth, and improve the lives of millions of Nigerians. To finance sustainable energy, we must seek to complement what the governments at all levels are doing. Thus, we need to explore innovative financing models that can attract private sector investment. Some potential options include green bonds, that we can issue green bonds to finance renewable energy projects such as solar and wind power. Public-private partnerships. We can partner with private sector companies to develop and finance energy infrastructure projects. Carbon credit. We can explore the potential for carbon credits to finance energy efficiency projects. To finance sustainable agriculture, we need to develop financing models that can support smallholder farmers and agribusinesses. Some potential options include agricultural value chain financing, that we can develop financing models that support the entire agricultural value chain, that all value chain actors are supported adequately from production to processing and marketing. Microfinance. We can provide microfinance services to smallholder farmers and agribusinesses to support their operations. Agricultural insurance. We can develop agricultural insurance products to protect farmers against crop failure and other risks. In recognition of the foregoing, since the inception of this administration, on the strength of the determination and commitment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, agriculture became an utmost priority, and by extension, food and nutrition security took a front burner under the Renew Hope agenda of government. Notably, we have continued to allocate resources to and encourage investment in agricultural infrastructure. These include rural roads, storage facilities, and markets to improve the efficiency and productivity of our agricultural sector. Unprecedented and unwavering commitment on the part of the federal government to agricultural finance. The President scored a first in the recapitalization of the Bank of Industry to the tune of $1.5 trillion, about $1 billion, that agriculture is adequately financed, even as we remain resolute in ensuring sustainable access to affordable credit, including through unlocking financing from commercial banks to smallholder farmers. Efforts are equally ongoing to strengthen the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation to provide insurance cover and de-risk agricultural investments. These are far-reaching government programs and interventions towards attracting credit and other financial services for Nigerian farmers, including the development of innovative financial products and services. Since the government came on board, we have placed a very serious importance on private sector investment. Effectively, we have continued to engage and encourage private sector investment in the agricultural sector, including the development of public-private partnership and the promotion of foreign investment. Mention must be made of expansions of frontiers for strengthened engagement with development partners and multilateral bodies to facilitate funding and realign existing projects and programs to priorities, as well as bilateral agreements with nations and territories to explore comparative advantages and co-create mutually beneficial development agendas, including technical know-hows, infrastructural development, exchange, and trade in agricultural inputs and commodities alike. It is right to say that by expanding its frontiers for strengthened engagements, Nigeria can access new funding opportunities, leverage international expertise, and promote agricultural trade and exchanges to drive economic diversification and enhance food security. A typical testament to the foregoing, ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago, the federal government initiated special agro-industrial processing zones, SAPZs, as its groundbreaking done in Kaduna State by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. The SAPZ, a project in conjunction with state governments, is a strategic initiative aimed at transforming the country's agricultural sector into a competitive and sustainable industry. The project, which is funded by the African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, has 29 states on board and would have its implementation in phases with 8 states in the initial takeoff category. The project, termed a game changer for Nigerian agriculture, is targeted at infrastructural development through the establishment of agro-industrial hubs and agricultural transformation centers to support processing and production activities. Appreciating the enormity of resources required for energy and infrastructure development for Nigerian agriculture and the competing needs for the nation's scarce resources, it becomes imperative for us from this dialogue to develop a national sustainable energy and agricultural financing strategy. We need to develop a comprehensive strategy that outlines our financing priorities and goals. Establish a sustainable energy and agricultural financing fund. We can establish a fund that provides financing for sustainable energy and agricultural projects. Provide incentive for private sector investment. We can provide incentives such as tax breaks and subsidies to encourage private sector investment in sustainable energy and agriculture. In conclusion, financing sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure is critical for our nation's economic development and recovery. We need to explore innovative financing models that can attract private sector investment and support smallholder farmers and agribusinesses. By working together, we can create jobs, stimulate economic growth, and improve the lives of millions of Nigerians. I therefore call on us stakeholders, including government at all levels, private sector, companies and civil society organizations to work together to finance sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure. We have a unique opportunity to create jobs, stimulate economic growth, and improve the lives of millions of Nigerians. Let us seize this opportunity and build a brighter future for our nation. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Please, a round of applause once again for the representative of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Okay, I'd like to plead with her to please, for time purpose, the rest of the goodwill messages should be done in 3 minutes. Now, I will be moving over to the man of the moment, the special guest of honor, and I will be reading a briefing about Senator Ayim Pius Ayim. Senator Ayim Pius Ayim was the 9th Senate President of the Senate President 2000 to 2003. And please, let's make welcome the man that is wearing 2 caps here, who is, of course, representing Senator himself, His Excellency Barrister Eric Kelechi Igwe, the former Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State. Please, a round of applause for him as he makes way to the podium to make his goodwill messages. Are we tired of clapping? I think I will mandate us to clap until he gets here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of His Excellency Senator Pius Ayim Pius, who is unavoidably absent, and had communicated so to the organizers of this dialogue, I want to congratulate the organizers for a wonderful and special dialogue at a critical moment and time like this in our nation. Some of the responsibilities of government seem to be outsourced to the private sector, and one of it is this one that we are holding here. Because if an individual or a company will take upon itself the assignment, responsibility, and duty of putting all of us together to dialogue on how to move our nation forward, it is a commendable approach and thing that we should work. Infrastructure dialogue, as I understand it, is the key to economic growth, development, and also employment creation for our nation, the teeming youth of our nation. At a time like this, government should not be bedeviled with the responsibility of providing everything. Government should not be expected to provide all our needs. But with a dialogue such as this, there will be collaboration between government, private sector, and other agencies so that these needs can be solved, and together we shall build a veritable nation. Because I'm limited by the moderators of this dialogue to keep my goodwill message within 3 minutes, I want to say to you that I will not read the text message that was given to me by Senator Anyim because it's lengthy. It touches on virtually everything that Nigeria needs to do at this time and in future to guarantee us a safety and a safe haven infrastructurally in Nigeria. But unfortunately, due to time, I would simply converse him to the organizers of this function so that they will find a way to disseminate it to the Nigerian public for our utility and our consumption. Again, I want to commend the organizers and thank the very distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are here gathered this morning for this all-important dialogue. Chief Boni Haruna, it is something you did years back to bring Adamawa State on board. It used to be a state that some people say, oh, they are neighbors to Cameroon. So, but a man like Boni Haruna came on board and saw the needs of that state, brought that state to the fore. I wasn't surprised that he spoke eloquently this morning about what we need to do as a nation to bring ourselves up to speed in what other nations, even in our continent, Africa, is doing. So I thank you for gracing this occasion. And the representative of Minister of Agriculture, this is your deal. This is your game. How I wish the Minister of Agriculture will have serious take home, and not just to address us. You have been talking and talking and talking as ministry. We want action now. And we are not saying anything that we have not known as Nigerians. What we need is what you are going to do collaboratively with all the giants, the industrial giants that this dialogue has brought together, so that together we shall build a nation that we shall all be very proud of. Thank you. God bless all of you.
The former President of the Senate, Senator Anyim Pius Anyim GCON, speaking through the former Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State. Please, another round of applause for him. At this point in time, it is expedient that we also listen to the Senate Committee Chairman on Agriculture and Food Security, distinguished Senator Saliu Mustafa, ably represented at this event by his senior legislative assistant. Please do join me in welcoming his representative, Barrister Salman A. Salman, for the Senator's goodwill. Please, a warm round of applause for him as well as he makes his way here. I just told us the health import of clapping. Can we make that applause a lot louder?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the chairman of the occasion, distinguished His Excellencies, the former governor of Adamawa State, Mr. Boni Haruna, the ambassador of Mexico to Nigeria, Mr. Alfredos, and other distinguished chairmen, the chairman of the DPH, and other invited guests. On behalf of Senator Saliu Mustafa, Chairman Senate Committee on Agriculture, Production Services and Rural Development, who incidentally is honorably absent as he's on his way to the United Nations to deliver a lecture at the University of Birmingham tomorrow. He has extended his goodwill, and thank you for the invitation. Well, we must emphasize that on behalf of the Senator, that this dialogue, infrastructure dialogue, is very apt considering the circumstances we're in. No nation on earth can develop without infrastructure in energy and in agriculture. Nigeria agriculture infrastructure, the Nigeria agriculture infrastructure, as we know, is very vital to our security and economic growth. And on this note, the Senate Committee on Agric in the 10th Assembly have several bills in different level of consideration to address some of these issues. And one of them is the warehouse receipt bill, which is supposed to address the agricultural needs, the post-harvest losses, and other things which the agricultural sector is presently suffering. On behalf of this Chairman Senate Committee on Agric, I thank you for the invitation, and I implore you all to discuss in great depth. And on behalf of the Chairman Senate Committee, we assure you of the collaboration of the 10th Assembly in regards to whatever legislative intervention that needs to be made to give legislative actions to what we need. Presently, the government of Nigeria is on the right track following the declaration of the food security and also the renaming of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. I'm happy that the Executive Secretary of the NADFund is here, and that is also one of the steps the President is taking to address the infrastructural needs of agriculture in Nigeria. We'll look forward to the very robust discussion that's going to follow up, and whatever we need to do to collaborate with you. We assure you of the National Assembly's collaboration to that effort. I thank you once again for the invitation, and we wish you a very happy and fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for making it very businesslike, straight to the point, and it was quite concise. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. We're quickly going to apply wisdom in doing what we have left to be done. First, I share with you the story behind wisdom. At the wake of the millennium, under the leadership of President Olusegun Obasanjo, there was this hues and cries and worries about millennium bug and computer collapsing, phones no longer working, airplanes no longer flying, and there were so many myths to it. And as a result, President Obasanjo, in his a professor of cybernetics that could go around 20 federal universities in Nigeria within 2 weeks to deliver a lecture on cybernetics and its co-relationship with the millennium bug. In the course of that, it was only one professor that the owners, fell on. And this man crisscrossed North Central, Northeast, he had Southwest to go, South-South, moved from there to Southeast. He had just 2 universities to go, Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto and the University of Maiduguri. And then, of course, you could see that exhaustion had set in. His driver, being very understanding, said, "Prof, if you continue like this, you'll collapse. Suppose I hop into your suit, wear your apparel and your glasses, go to this lecture theater. At least I've been sitting with you for the past 3 weeks. And so I can, gesticulate the way you do, render the lecture. If it becomes very difficult, I'll just call you to give answers to some of the questions." The man saw wisdom in that. And off they went to the University of Maiduguri. And then there was one reception. Off to the lecture theater they went. And then from then on, after the lecture scholarly delivered, there was applause. But the questions and answer session was next. And the question came from a fellow professor as himself. "Prof, I've listened to your very scholarly presentation, but I can't seem to situate the co-relationship in your lecture between cybernetics and the millennium bug." And the prof who delivered the lecture just said, "I'm surprised that this type of question is coming from a fellow professor as myself. But even my driver, sitting at that end of the hall, can respond to this." And they gave the driver the microphone, and he threw light on it, and there was applause for the driver, not knowing that that was the professor. That is the kind of wisdom we're going to apply now. And so I have been told by the initiator of this infrastructure dialogue that we're going to have to merge the panels so that we don't keep you here longer than necessary. Please put your hands together for Dr. Ono Hanachi. And whilst that is on, before we invite him to give us his remarks, we'd like that we fix our gaze again on the LED, and there's a very short video presentation before we bring him up. Can we please have that video at this point?
Difficult for farmers to transport their goods to markets, leading to economic hardship. Similarly, Israel's advancements in agricultural infrastructure, particularly in water management, are remarkable. Israel utilizes drip irrigation, achieving water efficiency rates of over 90% compared to traditional flood irrigation methods that waste significant amounts of water. Their agricultural output per hectare is among the highest in the world, despite limited water resources. For example, Israel's irrigated land percentage is over 50%, while Nigeria's irrigated land percentage is less than 1%. Nigeria's agricultural yield for crops like tomatoes is 10 tons per hectare, compared to Israel's 70 to 80 tons per hectare. The key to bridging Nigeria's infrastructure gap lies in collective action. A recent study by the African Development Bank suggests that every $1 invested in infrastructure can generate $1.7 in economic growth.
To finance the infrastructure. We have this challenge every time we go to the National Assembly, because the National Assembly want to satisfy their own constituents, especially the National Assembly. So what they'll be looking at is that, what do I need to do for my constituent back home? And that's what created this constituency project. So it's a question of, does it make sense to spend 500 million naira on Lagos by the expressway, or break that 500 million into about 10 different projects and do town hall, ministerial, and all of that across 10 local governments, which is members of the National Assembly come from. So that has been the challenge. But I think when the government sat back and looked at the fact that there are always this issue about raising finance, they came up with that presidential infrastructure development from 2 weeks to raise money from the Sukuk branch. Now they created the FAO, the Infrastructural Corporation of Nigeria, which hopefully also is to raise finance in infrastructure. And it's only through that that we can begin to talk about. Because without finance, there's no way.
Enter the Infrastructure Dialogue 2025 with the theme Financing Sustainable Energy and Agricultural Infrastructure for Economic Development. All pathway to national recovery, featuring multiple speakers from the public and private sectors who are on the ground to dissect several topical issues, including building financial gap in energy and agriculture, using development finance institutions, enhancing energy accessibility, affordability, and availability through innovative finance structure, sustainable government economic policy for national recovery, improving public-private partnership structure for sustainable energy and agricultural infrastructure, economic importance of CNG, and renewable energies for national development. A new Nigeria is possible when infrastructure is top-notch, power is constant, agriculture optimally irrigated, enhanced food production and preservation, agro-processing, waste energy sources of renewable and fossil fuel leading to industrialization, employment generation, increased their capital income, and a boost in our foreign exchange. We must engage in meaningful dialogues, participate in public consultations, and advocate for sustainable solutions. By working together, we can transform Nigeria's infrastructure landscape, ensuring a brighter future for generations to come. This event is courtesy Knowledge Partners World Limited, DPH. We appreciate all our guest speakers for choosing to be part of this conversation. Our sincere gratitude also goes to join the conversation. Your voice matters. Infrastructure Dialogue 2025. Better infrastructure, better Nigeria.
If you agree that that's a powerful documentary, please can you put your hands together. All right, now we've gotten to the important segment of today, and I am more than delighted to be the one to welcome Dr. Onua Nnachi. I'd like to read a few things about him. He's a respected finance expert, economist, capital market operator, engineer, and infrastructure economist with a strong belief in democracy as a tool for good governance. He currently serves as a group managing director of TTL Group of Companies with an asset base exceeding $1.5 billion and is the managing partner at Africa Infrastructure Summit Group, AISG, Dutch Partners Group, and Feedback Infrastructure Services. Dr. Nnachi has advised several government agencies and institutions on major infrastructure projects, including the Bakassi Deep Seaport Project, now the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex Concession, the Centenary City Project in Abuja, and the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan. He has also served as technical advisor to the late Professor Dora Akunyili and as a transaction advisor to Dr. Chris Anyanwu at the Bureau of Public Enterprises. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if I ask us to clap now, please let us clap so that they will pay me my salary. Please, can we make welcome Dr. Onua Nnachi, the managing partner, DPH, for his keynote speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. His Excellency, the former Executive Governor of Adamawa State, the Ambassador of Mexico, the representative of the Honorable Minister, the representative of the Senate Committee, Chairman on Agriculture, Permit me to stand on already established protocol. Sometimes it's difficult to make a speech in a time like this where you have people like His Excellency Bani Haruna has given us a term paper to take home and go and understudy. But I'll try. One important thing you will ask yourself is, what motivates DPH to always call for such a discourse? You will agree with me, 9 out of 10, we Africans, we Nigerians, we don't tell our story proper, we don't present our case the way we should. Bad or unavailable infrastructure is not a crime. We see it as an investment opportunity, a business that must be created. So if we cannot tell it so that investors will key into it. And I want to take you a little bit backward. When you listen to some presentations being done across the globe, you will ask some critical questions. You know, the developed nations or the European world and America, they know how to make us look like we are nobody. Most of us have heard about conversations like Africa is too populated, we should depopulate. Have you heard about that? It's a common conversation. But I ask you one simple question. What is the population of China? 1.4 billion. Is that correct? What is the population of India? 1.3 billion. If you add it together, it is 2.7. What is the land mass of China and India put together? Is about 21 million square kilometers. The land mass of Africa is 38 billion square meters. Why should we discuss that? Do you connect with that? We have a better arable land mass, we have more land mass, and you're asking us to depopulate. And people that have a lesser land mass are in excess of us than a particular number. So it's a connection. So for us at DPH, we take time to do this event annually so that we'll be able to connect to the reality. This is the third session we are having. In the first section, we dealt on the railway infrastructure as a key driver in transportation. And lo and behold, some of the issues we raised as of today has been solved. Because as of when we did that particular issue, the railway policy in Nigeria was enacted in 1958. And I asked the MD of the Railway Corporation, how do you run a sector with a policy of 1958? How? In $1 billion to the Nigerian economy. And is a product of this